Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a very popular viewer question that I've been getting in is to go into more in depth on the female psychopath and traits to be careful about. When we talk about a female psychopath, we're talking about someone who has neurological and psychological differences than the rest and balance of the population. Whether it's 1 in 100, 2 in 100, it's thought to be between 1 and 4% of the population are psychopathic. It's usually felt that a large degree of them are men. However, it's really felt and believed that a female psychopath is just as prevalent. However, they are not as detected, i.e., in the penal system for violent and criminal activity and things of that nature. However, they do still exhibit, when we talk about spotting someone with these traits of female psychopathy, which means there's the similar psychological and neurological and neurochemical processes going on, specifically reduced activity in the amygdala, the center that is responsible for the fear activation, and also the sensitivity to dopamine, which is the reward sort of neurochemical, which is based on desire. And when you want something, you're going to pursue it. You get that reward mechanism going. Now, these people, contrary to stigma or belief, is that they're going to look a specific way, or they're going to hurt animals, or all these different things, that might pervade the media, specifically that of the movie, and what is portrayed on film. So, but the issue is that oftentimes the truth and where they are in society is very much the opposite. They are oftentimes undetectable, particularly because on the outside exterior, they, appear completely normal. They don't give themselves away. They can be extremely attractive, extremely intelligent, meaning coy, meaning high functional, meaning, advancing in career, advancing in organizations, advancing in marriages, advancing in community organizations, religious organizations. So they are blended and part of the regular population. And really where I feel we most see them as prevalent and to be alert of the traits is in the workplace, as well as in intimate relationships, as well as in the family. I mean, it's just, there are so many things to be careful of. And the degree, is important to understand a little bit about their traits and qualities and their intent, so you understand that this cognitive dissonance, this confusion that or tension you might be feeling is because, not because there's something inherently wrong with you, but these individuals, by virtue of being in a relationship with them, it can have grave consequences, serious consequences. It's a very serious situation. And what a lot of people want to understand about the female psychopath is important to understand is that they are pathological liars. They will lie 24/7 on important things, unimportant things, big things, little things, things that they think that you're going to notice, things that you won't notice. They are pathological liars. They are adept at having no sort of gut reaction at cheating, serial lying. Pathological lying meaning, based on disease or pathology. And their ability to put on a poker face is really part of a trait to be on the lookout for. And the fact that they are doing this with intent and purpose and deliberate calculation, not only for the short term, but for the long term, destruction and hurt of others is of paramount importance for you to understand. This is not like a typical female where they'll cheat on you, they'll lie, they might have, little white lies and, I was here and I was there. I cheated this once, it'll never happen again. Lying about their job, lying about their past work experience, lying about their background, lying about what they did for lunch, lying about, did they put ink in the printer, from, this is my social to this is my name to this is my identity. I mean, it can run the gambit from the very small to the largest, the biggest of the big, meaning defrauding of a personality. And one of the key traits, of course, of that is, when we think of the female, is that of relationship aggression, which means they will, without a doubt, unequivocally single out and target others. And it can be for a dating relationship, or it can just be to take someone down, because it is really this sort of hurting of others, this pre-calculated and deliberate inflicting of suffering. And not just physical suffering, psychological suffering, emotional suffering, spiritual suffering, financial suffering, that is really, really a strong indicator in their intent and their purpose, in why they will latch on and single out people. Without a doubt, they will zero in on people who have the goods. These people will target people, like, we'll say of a vampire, and these unequivocally, I know a lot of people use that term, that they're vampiric in nature, but depleting, taking the lifeblood, bleeding you out of your energy, your values, your focus, your abilities, once again, your values and sense of self, will eventually result in identity corruption or identity corrosion, meaning they're trying to break down who you are as a person, and how you think, how you feel, how you relate to others, how you relate to the world, how you relate to your job, yourself, your community, where you live, what you eat, what you listen to, how you drive, how you focus. It's all up for targeting from these individuals. And the reason why I say it's so serious is because there isn't a lot of tools, resources, and forums for you to obtain help with this. And it can be very, very isolating and debilitating and disabling. What to look out for is to understand that these individuals are highly adept at what they do, and nothing is off limits. So even things that you think that's so horrific, how could they cheat with me, with my brother, with my father, with my neighbor, with my child, things that you can't even fathom. It is to understand that these are the individuals who are capable of this. Why is this? Because of their neuro wiring and the sort of their prefrontal cortex, which is based on judgment and future planning, is largely sort of passive, or really not firing on all cylinders, if you will. So these individuals are driven, once again, without what you would consider that makes somebody human. In other words, feelings, emotions, having not even having a heart, but more than having a heart, having feelings and relationships and emotions and empathy. Yet they will mirror back this idealized version of yourself to you. So part of the issue and what to look out for is that because they are completely vapid and empty inside of this human process, is as Dr. Robert Hare calls them as intraspecies predators. So think of the lion and the gazelle. The lion isn't there to play with the gazelle. The lion is there to consume the gazelle. Okay, so to understand is that these individuals, because within, even though what is going on within completely contradicts and oftentimes has a complete disconnect with who you see on the outside. These females, these individuals, can be highly attractive. Even if they're not physically attractive, they can be highly seductive. Highly seductive. the psychopathic gaze, which means they just kind of seem that they are staring at you and just very coyly. It's not obvious, but they will observe and just sort of have a psychopathic gaze, which is very uninterrupted. Even, there's other people around. It can be at a luncheon, a dinner, a party, a workplace, a family. And you notice that they're just sort of staring. And they don't really seem to be having a lot going on underneath. And it's just kind of a very quiet gaze. Most women don't do this. Most women, like as part of societal norms, as well as for a female, you don't stare people. And it's different than just being stared down. So usually when someone is staring you down, you'll get a feeling, you can feel the aggression. You feel that there's maybe some malintent. With the female psychopath, oftentimes the psychopathic gaze, also known as the reptilian stare, is cold and it is singling in its vision, in its scope, meaning all sorts of other things can be going on, and it seems like the clock is stopping while they're looking at you. And a lot of people mistake this for sexual intrigue or sexual interest, because a lot of women will not, just volunteer eye contact. A lot of women, as the more vulnerable of the species, know not to elicit eye contact, especially with men, unless there is something, be communicated. It's known that, you don't just invite that, to invite that inquiry, to invite that interest. And so a lot of men, when they're being targeted, and women are targeted also, without a doubt, in the workplace, in relationships, just for the sheer gaminess of it, or because it belays their boredom, these individuals have extreme amount of energy. These females can work 2, 3 jobs, juggle 2, 3, 4 relationships, cycle through relationships, close and intimate contact, and feel no emotional connection, where most women, 96 to 98% of the society would not be that intimate with others or that quickly. It's just about self-protection for diseases, reputation, their own self-respect. Most women aren't that way. Sure, you've got your floozies, bimbos, whatever, the easy people. We're not talking about these people. We're not talking about the people who love physical intimacy. We're talking about using this as a weapon. These individuals, they don't have sort of this desire to be close, to start a relationship, to have dinners. It's really all about the consumption. And a psychopath will tell you that they are asexual. So even though, despite the fact that they might be, very productive, or consummate a lot of close relationships in that manner, they have zero interest in relationship building. It's not even to do something like to release stress, or because they've got this energy, this sexual energy or sexual appeal. It is used as a tool. It is used as a way to break somebody down. It is used as a way to derail you and, distract from really your advancement, your security, your self-esteem. Whatever it is that you have is, up for target. Whether it's a family, whether it's finances, whether it's a job, whether it's a place to live, whether it's a place to have their children, and use as I call them kind of a decoy. It's just kind of a decoy relationship. These females can commit to, being employed, being in a romantic, exclusive relationship, being engaged, being wedded, and within, a couple hours of, or even several minutes of being close with somebody, they can go and just do it all over again and have no remorse, no regret, no feeling. They don't feel commitment. They don't feel attachment. They don't feel bonding. That oxytocin, that feel-good chemical that people experience when they're getting close, they don't experience this. This is not part of their repertoire. It ain't wired that way. You ain't dealing with, a typical female. You're dealing with someone who is completely like a reptile inside. And even as a reptile, you can compare it to something. A female psychopath is really there's really sometimes no words that can just describe this individual, and then the aftermath. It's just, people say demonic, evil, inhuman. Really, it's, alien. There's a lot of ways to describe it, but the degree and intent to which they will love bomb, idealize, and then mirror back an idealized view of yourself, especially in the beginning, the idealization, the love bombing stage, is really just, most people don't feel it's humanly possible that someone can do this. So it's beyond the shocking, it's beyond the cognitive dissonance and the brainwashing. And so it's very important to understand that, if they're kind of, it's kind of like they will scope people out, so they will look and gaze without emotion. A lot of men perceive this look because oftentimes they don't really blink. They just sort of gaze and just sort of this sort of vapid, empty look. A lot of men mistake this as seduction or sexual interest. Oh, wow, she must be, interested in me. And wow, isn't she a great catch? She's fabulous. She's beautiful. She's this and this and this. And then all of a sudden, there's this epiphany. She is perfect. This person comes off extremely perfect, untouchable, infallible. She'll treat you the specific, the perfect way, working perfectly with your schedule, do all the things that no one has done for you, give you these little gifts, the little notes, the little cookies, the little cupcakes, the 5-foot birthday card that they, made on 16 poster boards and then left at your, at your car, or whatever it is that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. No one has ever done this for me before. If you're having these experiences, these are traits to look out for. And the high energy aspect, which means they don't quit. Even after the fight, even after exposure, even after suspicion, even after challenges, they'll just have this sort of dispassionate, sort of unmoving, response, or just the opposite, meaning it is a completely learned and mimicked and mirrored response back. So, if they think that they should be afraid at a movie or something, ooh, and do one of these, and then, ooh, and then they're dropping into your lap, save me, protect me, and you're like, this is just the previews of the movie, and you're already scared, little things like this. Oh, don't worry, honey, and you're having to comfort them, or they might have jokes, or, oh, let me reach for my pop. What was that? That wasn't my pop. All these sort of transgressions are also, traits to look out for. The boundary violation, the high risk behaviors. Wow, most women would never do this for me. Most women would never go to these lengths. Most people would never stay up all night to make me, 15 dozen cookies. Most people would never work on this report and get this done right away and deliver it, 3 hours early with coffee and a cup, and cinnamon crunch cake. Most women would never make me this dinner and, be wearing this or whatever. Like, this most women, sort of epiphany. And then you're kind of like the deer in the headlights and you're not seeing it coming. The psychopathic gaze is because they're learning and sussing you out. They don't think about the things that most people think about. Oh, he's tall, he's handsome, he's good looking, he's a great this, he's a good worker, he's good with his finances, he's good with his kids, he's a good match. This is not what's running through the head whatsoever. They are sussing you out, sizing you up, absorbing information, especially on the nonverbal, and listening for clues about your values, your interests, your weakness, your vulnerabilities. And at first, then they're going to mirror back all the satisfaction of these. So if you're insecure about something, your hair, oh my God, you have the cutest hair. If you're, insecure about having somebody over, oh my gosh, it's so comfortable. If you're insecure about your manliness, oh my God, I can't believe, you are so strong. You could basically only be able to lift 5 pounds, but they're going to say, I can't believe you just lift that 5-pound paper clip or whatever. And it's just like, wow, no one's ever said that to me before. No one has ever been able to be with me this long. No one has ever. Yes, that can happen, but if it goes on and on and on. And, the psychopathic gaze is when they're sort of, they just sort of don't really have, it seems that there's not going on a lot underneath the surface. They can have people talking to them side by side, but they are, they're not really their body language is not oriented like you would expect. This is another trait to look out for beyond the psychopathic gaze, is that their body language is not natural. It is not natural, meaning it's not right for the situation. Whether they're standing too close, they're where they should not be. You should be at work now. You should be doing this now. They're just, you'll find that they are not at this location, and you happen to call them or text them, and you think that they're at work, and you hear music in the background, and they say, oh no, that's just the loudspeaker, and it's different, but they'll lie with such facility. They won't miss a beat. They won't, get a bead of sweat. And if they get exposed, they will have a cover-up for a cover-up for a cover-up with a cover-up. So it's just, it is very 24/7 the degree to which this is going on. It's not like it's because of you. This is who they are. You didn't make them this way. You didn't just make a mistake. This is how these people target, groom, and scope and make a deliberate, plan. It can be within the day, within the week, the month, the year, a decade, 2 decades. It does, the end result and the intention is the same: your downfall, your demise, your ruin, your discomfort, your shock at self, where you're like, I cannot believe I just did this. The high risk behaviors that these women will engage their people with, their partners with, their targets with, and transgression of boundaries, meaning because they are sort of, they're prone to boredom, so they get bored very easily. A lot of shifting around of schedules, of partners, of things that they do, things that they pursue, things that are seemingly contradictory. Politics, as well as religion, as well as work, as well as interests, as well as areas of expertise. They can run the gamut, and yet they can be seemingly very, very contradictory, yet they can be experts in conflicting interests. And they're very wanting to hide or not discuss their background. So you might not see pictures of them, or you might see a lot of planted pictures of them to give the impression that they are a specific way. But oftentimes, once again, it's, in excess. So, they don't have a real kinship to animals. You would think the woman, the bleeding hearts, save a hurt child, save, a hurt aging parent, save a cat, save a kitten, save a dog, save a puppy, save a goldfish, and yet, they don't have any feeling towards animals. They don't get that, oh my gosh, if their animal has broke their leg. It's just as if you had, you know, made a scuff on the floor that you can easily wash off. They don't have that kinship and connection emotionally. It's just not what is going on. But on the outside, it appears as if. And they are, to the degree, it's important to understand that because they don't contain this wiring, that it gives them the ability to study others and see what others do, and then to mirror back even better than the original. It's just how they are. Good, bad, indifferent, it is what it is. And they will mirror back oftentimes the very contrary to what they are. So all of a sudden they have one dog, one cat, one goldfish, one, llama, one bird. They have, seemingly all these, animals. Oh, you're so good with animals. And meanwhile, they're like, it's just a front. The degree and extent of their front will surpass most people's comprehension, to the point of addresses, to the point of jobs, to the point of phones, to the point of socials, to the point of outfits, areas of study. It is not off limits. Some people would say, really, how could anybody get through that system? They do. They do. They find the wormhole to sneak in, around, up, down, sideways, whatever it is, whether it's getting people's cell phones, addresses, car keys, house keys, recipe book, contact list, Rolodex, whatever it is that they want, they will get. And very strange things, taking what they want. You find strange things either, removed from your house. Where's that pan? Where's that picture? Where's my jeans? Where are my socks? Oh, I took that because it helps me remind me of you. Yeah, right. That is not the case. They will either remove strange pieces of clothing or objects from your place, or they will leave strange things around that make you go, receipts, phone numbers, dishes, things left open, things left disheveled, that are kind of like planting a trail, that are, I call it the psychopathic calling card. Strange things done to your bushes, things written in the snow, things written in the sand, things written in ice, things written on your car, things at your desk, in your inbox, just strange clues, things like their initials, shapes, weird, once again, receipts, parts of things that make you go, are you seeing somebody else? You might see something crumpled up sticking out of their pocket, and then it's just, really sticking out, and you're like, what's that? Oh, it's just part of my pants, and it's not, that. But they'll kind of look at you while they're lying, and they'll just kind of have that psychopathic gaze, or on their phone. Who are you texting? Oh, it's just I'm playing solitaire, and then, they do it frequently until they're testing you. How soon are you going to figure this out when you look at their phone and they're sending pictures or Instagram, or there are many other people who they have targeted? So it's important to understand that this singling out and this sort of psychopathic gaze and things when they, their reactions, because of their system and the way that they're wired, they have a lot of energy. So you're like, wow, how could anyone have this energy or be so fearless? Most people would not be comfortable doing this. Is another trait or aha moment. I couldn't stay up this late. I couldn't do this much work. I couldn't do the, all this is just overwhelming, overstimulating. To a female psychopath, it's just business as usual. So, if you've experienced these sort of things and had your boundaries transgressed, high risk behaviors where they're, just high risk behaviors, meaning doing things that you're not comfortable with, and then sort of feeling that you no longer identify with your own values or your own self, is the disruption of identity. This is how they get in, and it's very difficult to heal from. So you need to identify, and you need to learn, and you need to watch the tools and the videos here on the channel. But namely, you need to become indifferent, unresponsive, non-reactory, and proceed and go no contact. If you have to move, get a new job, whatever it is, you have to determine the situation. And definitely please watch some of the other videos here. We talk a lot about tools for handling and coping and moving on successfully through this, so that you identify these types of individuals and you no longer become attractive to this, and you don't fall into this rut again. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support. And please donate as well to help support the channel and keep it alive. Have a beautiful day.